Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. This is True Talk with TruMotion, where a couple of guys talk about how to make the world a better place and hopefully make your day a little bit better in the process. My name is Mark, followed by my co-host Stephen.
Hey,
Let's get things kicked off. Well, Stephen, things have been it's been a weird summer. It's busy, slow, all that fun stuff. How's your week been?
my week has been busy, slow, all that fun stuff. Kind of been an example week of how summer's been, and now it's wrapping up already.
Summer or?
Yeah, well, summer by the time people are listening.
Oh,
to
yeah,
this.
that's absolutely, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's interesting, right? Because it's very hot. Everyone's tired.
Yeah, it's stupid hot.
It's so, but then you get these really short rainstorms, these bursts of like little rainstorms.
At least you do here. They don't come to my house.
No, they don't. They don't come over to the other side of the freeway where
No, they don't.
the rich people live. So
They don't go on the east side.
that's right.
No, because I've been noticing that here in South Jordan, like at least once in the afternoon, there'll be like a 5-minute just thunderstorm.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then like it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
No, it has been ridiculously hot lately. I'm talking like, for those of you guys who don't know the Utah weather, I mean, it traditionally gets in the 90s for the most
We
part.
have a heat front across most of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's over 100 degrees here.
Mm.
And that happens every now and then, but it doesn't happen very often. We're not like Arizona or Nevada or stuff like that. But, man, it's getting to the point where it's like the middle of the day. You're like, what do you want to do? Like, nothing. I just want to sit on my AC and, like, stay as cold as possible or go to the pool. Like, stay cold. That's, like, the only thing that's the main motivating driving factor for people is am I going to stay cool or am I going to overheat? In fact, we actually had to cancel the crane test a couple weeks ago because it was too hot. And with headquarters has like this, it's a big building with lots of windows and it creates a natural greenhouse effect. And when you get more than like 10 people in there and they're like working out and hopping around, it'll go from 90 degrees to 100 degrees in 10 minutes. And the last thing we want people doing is standing on one foot trying to balance while they're battling heat stroke or dehydration.
All the greenhouse gases.
Yep. Or you got one of those big old sweaty people that just sweats all over the place, and now you're dealing with a slippery course.
That was me on Monday at Academy.
Were you a big sweaty mess?
I do a lot of sweating.
That's good.
I'm pretty good at it too.
You're well hydrated.
I was walking on that they've got this the stone floor, right?
Oh, did you slip?
No. I left the footprints.
Oh,
Sweat.
there you go. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
I didn't sit down because I told Master Martin, it's like I have to take the chair with me.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be my chair.
Got some swamp ass going.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been really, really hot in Utah and at the dojo, and hopefully we can start getting some temperature relief here soon. So,
Agreed.
but
How was your week?
it's been all right. Have had a couple of doctor's appointments, and it's been good. It's been long. Like we said, everything in between. It feels like that summer where all of a sudden you're like, go, 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 go. And then it's like, ugh, boom, done. So, yeah, it's been nice. Trying to think if there's anything that's been going on. Not really. Shanna and I were able to hang out with a couple of her old friends they live in Boise now, but she worked with, his name's Logan, which we're actually going to have him on the show here pretty soon.
We are. Cool.
Yeah, we'll either Zoom him or he'll drive out for the day or something. He's a former professional archer, so he used to work with Shanna at Easton.
Wow.
So he would literally traveled the world competing in archery tournaments. So it was a pretty cool gig for him. Plus he got to work for Easton, who was a sponsor for him and all that stuff. So
that is really cool.
Yeah, so he's a great guy. His name's Logan Wild. We went and had dinner with him and his wife on Saturday. And then, that was kind of about it. But yeah, I was talking to him. I was like, hey, dude, would you mind, like, being on our podcast one day, and he's like, heck no, man. He's got a little bit of a... It's interesting because I think he's just from Utah and Idaho, but he's almost got like almost a southern twang to his voice. But he's not from the South that I'm aware of.
So he said yes or no?
He said yes.
Okay, good.
So I'll have to ask him where the twang comes from. But him and his brother Rio are both... Well, Rio's more of... he still shoots. Logan doesn't shoot very much anymore. But they would shoot compound, not recurve, so it wasn't an Olympic sport. And they were real big advocates on getting compound in the Olympic, as an Olympic sport.
Huh.
Yeah, so if you ever watch archery in the Olympics, which we got the Olympics coming up here pretty soon, I think archery's in the Summer Olympics. Every time they shoot, it's with recurves. So they don't have that ability to hold that long draw forever. Eventually they got to let loose. So, but oh man, have you ever watched archery in the Olympics? God, it's fascinating. Those are apparently, I believe that's 80 yards away.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I think, no, maybe not 80 yards. It's long.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 80 yards is quite a long ways for a recurve shot. It's long. I'll have to find out the actual distance, but you look at it and you're like, holy crap, like I can barely see the center of that thing. And people are just drilling it. And you're just like, damn. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, all the shooting sports are just incredible because it's just so many fine-tuned little motions, so much practice goes in.
Oh, yeah.
That it's a commoner like me doesn't even begin to understand all the minutia of shooting a handgun.
Yeah, when you grab a handgun and you watch like TV, like everybody shoots the headshots and this and that.
Wow,
you grab a gun and all of a sudden you shoot it. You're like, holy crap, I dropped it.
Yep.
And you're like, this is not like it is in the TV.
Not the same.
No.
Archery is funny though because it just reminds me of just playing D&D. Being like, oh look at that, that's a D&D character.
Well, that'd be like our top five archers.
Yeah.
So, but no, we were talking, and apparently I didn't know this. This is a very interesting thing to think about. When you are in competition, you're not allowed to have alcohol. Alcohol is considered a performance-enhancing drug in terms of shooting. It calms the nerves, and it slows your heart rate. So I was like, holy crap, I didn't know that.
And all those help you for a steady grip.
Yep. I did not know that. But yeah, it was good. So we'll have him on probably here in the next month or two, something like that. We'll see how it goes. But moving on, here's a word from our sponsor.
Up! Hey, listen up. It's time for you to take your school spirit to the next level. How? You gotta go to the TruMotion merch shop. It's your destination for all karate-themed apparel and swag. Whether you're looking for shirts, hoodies, PJs, water bottles, or unique gear to showcase your passion, TruMotion merch shop has got you covered. New designs drop all the time, so it's always fresh. And the best part? Any item can now be personalized with details like names and colors. It's your swag, your way. Don't wait. Unlike the 4 steps to a kick, there's only one step here, and that's scanning the QR codes on your membership card or at the South Jordan or West Jordan locations to get your TruMotion merch shop on your phone. Link in the description. Plus, first-time shoppers can use code TruMotion10 to snag $10 off your order of $50 or more. That's TRUMOTION 10. Use the Contact Us link on the shop page to begin discussing that perfect swag that will help you win big at your next tournament. You don't need to get punched in the face anymore to show your dojo spirit. Order your TruMotion merch today.
Thank you, sponsor.
Yeah, thanks, sponsor.
Excuse me. And now moving on to our top 5. All right, this top 5 is a little bit different, actually a lot different.
So different.
Yeah, very, very out of our wheelhouse because it's showing emotion. And
it's unbelievable.
I had to look up the definition of what emotion was.
Yeah. You sent me a strange word. I think it was vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerability.
I'm not sure what that meant.
I was like, oh, what is that? So this week's top 5 are top 5 songs that kind of make you cry or get you vulnerable or spark an emotion out of you.
Make you feel something.
Make you feel something, okay? So it's very, very different. I'm actually curious to see on what other people's songs are, because obviously 5 of them are specific to people for me, and then I have 2 that just no matter wherever I hear these, I'm like I either have to plug my ears or go away because like I'll just start crying, and it's embarrassing.
Just natural tear gas to you.
Oh yeah, I'll be walking around. They're like, "Why are you crying?" Be like, "I'm not crying. Leave me alone."
They were cutting onions in the other aisle.
Yeah, someone spit in my face and it made me feel bad. So, in no particular order, I'm going to go with the 2 that just no matter where I am, they always cause some tear jerkers, and that's "Whiskey Lullaby" by Brad Paisley. If you're ever feeling down or sad, don't listen to the song; you will feel worse. But great vocals, great guitar. Just sad song. And I picked the national anthem by Chris Stapleton, but to be honest with you, it's any national anthem. If I'm anywhere and the national anthem's playing, dude, I start to get teary-eyed. I do. It sparks a huge emotion out of me just for the fact that, like, we're so lucky to be here in America, and I go back and I think of people like my grandpa who sacrificed a lot by serving the country. Then I start thinking about people that have died for the country, and I'm just like, it hits me really hard and heavy. So I get pretty emotional anytime I'm anywhere and I hear the anthem. Like at tournaments, I really try to hold it in because it's like, oh, we got students are watching, Sensei's crying, what a big sissy. So, but I really try to hold it back with that. And getting on to the 5 that spark an emotion with particular people. This one is "He Ain't Heavy" by the Hollises. Reminds me of my dad. When my dad was 18 years old, he was in a severe motorcycle accident where he basically got hit by a dump truck. Everybody thought he was dead. Nobody thought he would live. And my uncle Rob would help carry him around and be there for him. And he would always say, "He ain't heavy." And the song is "He's My Brother." So that's why that one kind of gets to me that way. In case you didn't know, that one reminds me of my wife Shanna. "Song for Your Mama," obviously about my mama. Everybody loves their mama. And "Just to See You Smile" by Tim McGraw reminds me of Maya, my daughter. And then "My Boy" by Elvin Shane reminds me of my boy Jamin. So those ones get me a little emotional. Even talking about them, I'm really having to concentrate on not breaking down. You are
concentrating really well.
So that's what I've got for my top 5. I don't want to spend too much time on it, or I will probably start crying. So, moving on.
Oh no, it's my turn. Oh, this one was very difficult for me because I don't know. I don't cry. I don't know what it is. I know my tear
ducts don't work.
My tear ducts work. They're just they're rebellious.
They're like, oh, screw you,
like,
man.
You don't need to cry about this.
No.
But I take that back. I do tear up sometimes, but it's not for like sad things, but it's more for like inspirational things.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like heroic things. Like the dumbest thing is like in movies, right? In the climatic scene, right? Where it's like the forces of evil are overwhelming the forces of good.
Yeah.
And then like the hero comes in. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to cry here.
Yeah. Like the Patriot.
Yes, like the Patriot.
Like they're losing and they're running and all of a sudden you see the flag like, in the background.
There's hope. They're not giving up.
And then they turn around and they're yelling and you're just like, hold it in.
Hold it in.
Hold it in.
Hold it in.
Or another Mel Gibson one.
Braveheart, yes.
When he's laying on the table and he yells freedom right before he dies. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what gets me. Not necessarily the sad things. And there's music that accompanies all those scenes.
Oh yeah.
And I've realized that if I listen to the music, I get a similar feeling. So a lot of my songs are not like songs with words, not about stories. They're like acoustic songs. So for that, I do have a few songs that bring me some emotion. I know I'm going like in circles here, but for those that bring me emotion, it's Heart of Courage with a cover of Heart of Courage. So Heart of Courage is a acoustic song,
Okay.
orchestra. But a couple hip hop artists, I think Lil Prophet and Petty did a cover of it, and they rapped over it, and that was a very emotional song.
Wow, I'll have to check it out.
Another one is "I Will Not" by Dax Hammer. Another rap song. It's a Christian song.
Mm-hmm.
It's about overcoming temptation and trials and addictions. So that song brings me. That song's very inspirational. If I'm in a like a pit of despair and I listen to a funk,
yeah,
it's like that song will turn things around.
Nice.
It's like, hey, you got to get it together. Some other songs. These are less wordy. I think we're gonna do the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So the song that's just a band song.
Okay.
Another one's going to be Ode to Joy by Beethoven.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a couple of mixes of that are really good. There's an epic version that's just so good. And it's that same feeling of like there's hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's something like there's somebody standing in there to say, I'm going to carry your burdens now.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of this.
Yeah.
It's like, you're standing up, get ready. The gloves are coming off.
Yeah.
So that's 4. And then I got one more, and I think that's going to be Boston by Augustana. That's just a sad song. That's just talks about leaving an abusive relationship and moving across country.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah.
Those are good. I mean, yeah, you're really right. You don't have to have lyrics to get emotional. I mean, let's take the anthem. Yeah. You can just have an orchestra play the anthem. Mm-hmm. And it hits you differently. There's this video online I'll have to show you after we record. This little kid, maybe 1 year old, they're recording him while the anthem's playing, and he's looking around, and it hits him really hard, and he starts crying. The little kid starts crying, and he doesn't even really know why he starts crying. And then when the crowd starts clapping, he starts clapping, but he's crying. Yeah. And you're just all like, wow, like that power that music can, come over you it's amazing. It can scare you. It can inspire you. I mean, shoot, everybody's heard the Jaws theme song, right? Dude, you hear that, you get out of the tub. Yep. You're like, oh, time to get out of the tub.
Yep. You look at your glass of water suspiciously.
See in there? Exactly. And that's just like doing it. Like two chords, doing it, and it's just over and over and over. Faster. Exactly, and you're just like, why is that so scary? Yep. But yeah, you put it in the you could take it out of the movie, and it's still kind of scary. But you put it with the movie, and it's freaking terrifying. Yep. And it's like the closer the beats get together, the closer it's getting to you, and it's like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, I agree. Songs don't have to have lyrics to spark an emotion, and even not like weepy cryy emotion, but just like maybe gratitude or pride or understanding. There's so many different ways to phrase it that it's
empathy.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel something. And I think men in particular, they need to go back to feeling something.
Interesting. Okay? Explain that.
Well, I mean, like we were joking earlier, be like, oh, I don't have tear ducts and this and that. It's like men need to be able to feel that emotion again.
I think they need to be able to feel that emotion, but they still need to understand that they're the ones that need to stand in the gap.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's that whole they need to understand the emotion, but they're not driven by the emotion.
That's right.
Okay. So they can understand it's okay to cry, but
that don't make that all you do.
No, exactly. That's not your purpose.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that, and I agree with that. That's a good point. I think if you don't have the understanding of why you're doing something or why what you're feeling is making you feel that way, or why what that is makes you feel that way, then it's like, are you human?
Well, it makes you more relatable. It makes you a better father. It makes you a better brother or sister. or not sister, makes you a better brother,
Mm-hmm.
makes you a better teacher. Because if you can like understand why kids are crying, be like, man, I'm really sad too. Like, but hey, we got to learn how to like finish what we're doing, and then you can go home and like go in the corner and cry.
Yep.
But like, hey, crying just because somebody said something to you, that's not a real good reason to cry.
Mm-mm.
But it's yeah. So men, I don't want to sound like they need to get in touch with their feelings. No, but they also need to understand and acknowledge their feelings.
They need to understand, because a feeling is just a reaction of something happening.
Yes. So it's like if something hurts them, they need to understand and be like, God, that hurt me. Please don't do that again. Like that really hurt. And that doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you any less of a man. It makes you actually stronger, because now you understand why you're feeling the way you feel. You know, if you're a weaker person, you're a slave to your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't understand why you're sad, or you don't understand why you're angry, or you don't understand why you're reacting the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
A strong person not only understands why you're doing it, but they can control it if they want to. So, but yeah, no, as as boys growing up, you're like, oh, you don't cry, you don't show emotion, this and that. Yeah, yes and no. I believe, you want to be tough.
I was one of those kids that cried over dumb things sometimes.
Yeah, we all did. I mean, but it's like having somebody say, hey, that's not a reason. That's a dumb reason to cry. And that's where
it's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll hold it back.
Yeah, and that's where, fathers that have control of their emotions come into play. The fathers that don't have control over their emotions will be like, hey, there's no crying. You want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. And then they get angry because you're crying. Mm-hmm. So it's that whole full circle type deal. So, but what?
Please share your own. Please don't let us be the only ones vulnerable here.
Yeah, please share your songs that kind of spark an emotion out of you. Whether it's like, hey, this one just makes me cry, or hey, man, this one inspires me to like sparks the inspiration out of me and all that stuff. So when I hear the anthem, yeah, I may get teary eyed, but I think it's more of like a proud thing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm so proud to live in America and be an American that it's hard to like contain it.
That's a good pride, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have that feeling.
You know what I mean? It's that sense of, man, there's so much things bigger than me that I just want to help. I just want to hope I'm doing the right thing to project that. So, but yeah, please leave your comments in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what your guys' some of your guys' songs are. I think that'd be neat. Moving on to the next section is the Ask a Senseis. All right, first question for Ask the Senseis is, how do you deal with getting overwhelmed? So it's like all of a sudden you've gone from no stress to I just can't take it anymore. There's too much on my plate.
That's how you deal with being overwhelmed. How I deal with being overwhelmed is I try to. It's the same principle of how you eat an elephant, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like you're looking at something being like, this is it. There is no life after this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine myself tomorrow if I have to deal with this today.
Yep.
Because you just forget. You forget that life goes on and that there's nothing that I've been through or nothing that's been so overwhelming that you're not going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're going to start with the small things. Start with what you can do, right?
Yeah, the controllables.
I don't know. I like making up history. Mm-hmm. So I like saying that the Vikings on their raiding parties, they would always pick the small village first, because what it does is it builds confidence.
Builds momentum.
It's like you build that momentum. You get on that warpath.
Mm-hmm.
And so you raid the small chapel, the small village first. You're not going to suffer any casualties.
No, but you'll feel good.
But you'll feel really good.
You won.
And then when you go up to the big city, you're like, hey, we've got all these wins under our belt. These people can't stand in our way.
No, it's very true. Exactly what you're saying is you can control the controllables.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't control if you get overwhelmed.
No.
But you can control what you do on a daily basis. And I know for me, I see a lot of people, they get overwhelmed when they get multiple things on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can handle more. Some people can handle less. Like, for instance, I know someone in particular who they've got like a few things they got to do, and it takes them all week to do them instead of an hour.
Right. And
it's like, I'm just too overwhelmed. I work and I got 3 things I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I wish I had 3 things to do. So it's like you learn to deal with more on your plate than as you get older, and you learn how to deal with the stress and being overwhelmed. But exactly like you said, it's like eating an elephant one at a time, one bite at a time. So if you're like, okay, God, I don't know, I can't get it all done today. Well, what can I get done today?
Yeah, that's right.
Do what you can, and then don't worry about what you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people get stressed, like, or they're overwhelmed if something's being shipped to them and they need it. Like for the tournament. Like, oh my gosh, I ordered Master Linton's belt like 2 months prior before the tournament. It still showed up late. I can't tell you how stressed and overwhelmed I felt just by that being late.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I had no control over that. Why? Because I'm not the one shipping it. I'm not the one controlling how fast things go once I send off the order. So it's doing what you can and don't stress about what you can't. And then on the next day, you make your list again.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to just be like, okay, my goal is to kick 2 things off the list.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels like that goes back to that what you were talking about with the Vikings. It's like you kick something off the list, you're like, damn, I just finished something. Let's do another one.
I feel good.
Then
I want to do
another
it again.
one. The next thing you know, you're coming up to the hard one and you've got this momentum. You're like, dude, I'm freaking going to kill this thing. Let's tackle this big one.
Yeah.
So it's exactly, you start with the things that you can do, then build up to the things that are tougher. So in fact, that's how they tell you to tackle debt.
Mm-hmm.
As you go with your small balance
snowball
card first,
effect.
Then the next one, instead of tackling the big card first,
mm-hmm.
and then this and that, it's like do the small ones first, and then put all your effort into the big one. So, but yeah, I think that's our responsibility as teachers to teach these kids how to deal with that stress and how to deal with being overwhelmed. Because I think stress and overwhelmed are kind of going hand in hand.
It's true, because stress is just thinking about something in front of you that you have to do that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, but moving on, next question. Our next question is there any benefits to doing a team sport versus an individual sport? Okay, now both of us can speak on this because we've both done both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is your take on doing team sports versus doing individual things?
You need both. Both, because a team sport builds different skills, like camaraderie and working together, communication. And then an individual sport builds your individual confidence. You can go many ways with this. Like a team sport, you win together and you lose together.
Mm-hmm.
You can also say, like, you know, there's people that can look within the team for inspiration. When you're doing an individual sport, you can look to other people, but you're ultimately competing against them.
No, that's very true. I agree with you need both. You do need both. You need to know how to take your own destiny in your own hands with the individual thing. But at the same time, you also need to learn how to trust as a team.
That's right.
And you need to know how to, if you're within a team, everybody's going to do their part.
Yeah, everybody's going to do their part. That's a good part of that, because when you do a blooper as a team, or if you do a blooper on a team, you've let not just yourself but the whole team down.
Yeah.
If you do something amazing and you like do a dive to make the catch and you make the catch, it's like your whole team's cheering you on there.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's they have their pros and cons. The pro to individual sports is it's individual.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get better, or if you want your record better, you're the one in charge of that.
That's right.
The only one that's going to change that is you. The con is most people that do only individual things don't know how to interact socially with people.
Mm.
So the benefits to team sports is it teaches you how to deal with multiple different types of people and personalities.
Yeah.
The problem with team sports is if you're not careful, they segregate you. Mm-hmm. And this took me a long time to figure out, because I did the whole team sports things growing up all the way up until
sports
college.
did you do?
I
mean,
did.
You did basketball. We had Coach Scott on here. But.
Yeah, I did basketball. I did baseball. I was on the golf team. I played soccer in junior high, but I wasn't a big soccer player.
Right.
But those were probably my main three, or at least those are what I did in high school.
Okay.
So, golf individual.
Yep.
And then, baseball and basketball, team sports. The problem with team sports that I figured out in my later ons, coming to think about it, is they separate you into categories. So you have your superstars, and then you have your role players. Mm-hmm. Now, the role players can't play very well without the superstars, and the superstars can't win without the role players. Yeah. But yet, when you're being taught at a young age, be like, "Oh, get the ball and just give it to this person and get out of their way." Like, what is that? What is that portraying to a young?
You're a supporting actor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're background noise, bro. If you have the wrong coach.
Right.
If you have the right coach, be like, dude, your job, if you don't get this ball and you don't get it to him, we don't win. Mm-hmm. So you're just as important as this person, because who got the ball? I did. Yep. I got it to the person that needed it to go to. When you explain it that way, as opposed to be like, hey, when you get your rebound, pass to Johnny, and Johnny's going to go score. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I got to do.
That's all I got to do?
Well, yeah, that's all you got to do. Just shut up and do your job. Well, okay, when you explain it that way, that kind of sucks. But if you're like, no, dude, your job is just as important as Johnny's, because if you don't get the ball, then Johnny doesn't get the ball. Mm-hmm. If Johnny doesn't get the ball, Johnny doesn't have a chance to shoot and win the game.
Yeah.
So your job is just as important as his in terms of your effort, your attitude, and your enthusiasm. So
definitely team sports give that structure, that role, right? Because you're going to have different people that fill different positions on the team.
Yeah.
Right? I was right field for most of baseball when we won. Yeah. And when on other things, when the coaches were more like, "Oh, give everybody a shot to play every role," I became a closing pitcher. And then at the same time, it's like when everybody has that same ability, it's like every role is important. Everybody just needs to put their ego a little bit aside to be like, hey, I'm not the one that's going to score, but my role helps the team score.
Yeah, no, that's a huge one right there. But let us know what you guys think on that. Are you pro team sports, anti team sports, pro individual sports, anti individual sports? You should do both. Mm-hmm. You need to expose yourselves to as many different movements as possible. Because one thing that I'm noticing, just me personally, is we're starting to get these young kids involved in one particular sport at a young age, and that's all they do now.
Right.
That's all they do. So it's like, oh, you showed promise in baseball. Well, guess what? That's all you do now. Is you just play baseball. Mm-hmm. That's bad. That's wrong. Why? Because I've heard from actual physical therapists and doctors that these kids getting out of high school have just as many repetitive stress injuries like their kids getting out of college 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they're wearing out their bodies faster because they're doing it more frequently at a younger age. So if you want to have longevity in something, you have to diversify yourself. Don't just do martial arts. Do martial arts with soccer. Don't just do soccer. Do soccer with martial arts.
Well,
do basketball with martial. And it's crazy. I've noticed so many similar correlating movements between martial arts and basketball that I never knew when I was just playing basketball.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like horse stances is posting up.
That's right.
You know, half moon stance is your like athletic stance. You know, shuffling is defensive shuffles.
That's right.
I mean, it's all the same thing, just done differently. So, but
slapping out is getting a technical call on the other team, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's taking a charge.
Yep, taking a charge.
Yep, exactly. So let us know what you guys think on that topic. I think that's an interesting one. Moving on to the next one is, how do you stay happy and positive all the time?
Oh, wow. The secret to success here.
And the key word is all the time.
All the time. Well, I'm always happy, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The answer to that is a trick question. You don't.
You don't.
Yeah. And if you say you do, you're just lying to yourself and you're an idiot.
You're in a fairy tale.
Exactly. Nobody stays happy and positive all the time.
And that's a good thing.
That's fine. It's knowing when you're not happy and positive, knowing when that is and how long that typically lasts for you. Because if you're like, oh, God, I'm getting into one of those funks, but I know how to pull myself out.
That's right.
Be like, give me 20 minutes, leave me alone, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or I need a day.
I need to walk.
I need to go on a walk. Give me a day. I'm not really feeling it today. I'm pissed off. I'm mad. Whatever it is. Not everybody stays happy all the time.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
And honestly, if you were happy all the time, then it would lose its meaning.
It would be. I definitely agree with that.
When I'm happy, I've figured this out through growing up of having to pull yourself out of certain things that are making you unhappy, cutting yourself off from people that are making you unhappy, cutting out certain activities in your life that ultimately make you unhappy. Like, then you become happy, and then you realize, like, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, now you're looking for the next thing, because that's what our minds do. Our
Yep.
minds look for the next thing, the next thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, but now I need to do something.
Yeah. No, I agree. If you do anything all the time, it loses its specialty.
It does.
But the truth of the matter is like, when you're not happy and positive, you want your non-happy and positive to be just as good as somebody else's happy and positive.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal for me. So if I'm like, quote unquote, not feeling it, and I'm just like having a funk day or whatever, I'm pissed off or blah, blah, blah. Outwardly, it still looks like I'm having a better day than most other people.
Yeah.
That's my goal. But you're not going to be always happy. You're not always going to be positive. Not everything's going to go well for you. The key is to ride the wave when things are good and endure and prepare when things are bad. Why? Because they will always come back around. It's like a wave. Okay? You ride that wave of happiness as long as you can, but eventually it runs out. So then you got to get on your board. You got to paddle back out there. You got to endure the shoreline and the incoming waves on the other end of it. And then you got to get in position, and you got to be ready for when that wave comes again. Be like, oh, here it comes. I can see it. Let's ride this bitch. You know what I mean? So you have to be prepared, and you have to understand that it's not always going to be all the time.
That's right.
And that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Okay? So going back to if you think you are going to be happy all the time, that's just going to create so much stress and misery for you.
If you're expecting to be happy all the time,
oh my goodness,
then you're going to be extra unhappy because your expectations aren't being met.
Yeah, for reals.
But if you don't expect to be happy all the time, then your expectations are going to be met, and you're actually going to be more happy.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So, let us know what you guys think on that topic. If we're onto something, or if we're off to something, whatever. It's my opinion anyways. So, yeah. Moving on to the next section, which is our Fight scenes, hypothetical fight scenes. This week's hypothetical fight is between two legendary warriors, one hailing from Europe and one hailing from the Far East.
Whoa.
One, they did it for the glory and entertainment of the crowd, and two, they did it to survive. We've got gladiators versus ninjas.
Whoa.
Okay. Now, obviously, I'm a little biased towards ninjas because of what we do, but gladiators are pretty badass too. So, speaking of which, totally off topic, have you seen the trailer for the new Gladiator 2 movie?
It looks good.
It looks way good.
It looks really good.
I can't believe they did the scene where they filled up the Coliseum with water and put sharks in it. What?
That's probably an enhanced flavoring, but yeah, I think you're right.
I mean,
I'm excited for it.
That sold me. I was like, I got to see it now.
I got to see this.
I was like, I'm pretty sure. I didn't know they did that, but I'm pretty sure they filled it with water.
They did that part. Yeah.
I don't think they actually brought sharks in, but who knows? Who knows? The Romans are pretty weird people.
Yeah, they could just get them from the sea and pull them in.
Yeah.
Run them really fast over to the Coliseum.
Yep.
So they don't
Hurry,
die.
get your running shoes on. Get your marathon shoes on. Okay, getting back to the actual topic at hand.
Fight scene.
Fight scene. So we're going to do 3 scenarios. We're going to do one, obviously, in the arena. We're going to do one in feudal Japan.
Okay.
And then we're going to do one as if they were just here in the dojo.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously, if they're in the arena, I'm going to go.
There's no cover.
I'm going to go with the gladiator.
Gladiator's going to win.
Yeah. Because the whole point of the ninja is deception.
That's right. Stealth.
Exactly. They
Sneak attacks.
They don't want you to see them until they want you to, or you're dead.
Yep.
And they're just going to act like everyday commoners.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to act like farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always thinks ninjas is those people that are dressed up in black with like the face across the shaw across their face and all that stuff. Well, that's if they're at nighttime, I guess.
That's their night outfit.
That's their PJs.
Those are their pajamas.
Yep. But most of the time, ninjas would be, quote unquote, ninjas would be your everyday looking folks that are just doing everyday normal tasks. And they had to use everyday farm tools and adapt them to weapons. Why? Because they weren't allowed to carry swords.
That's right.
Back in that day because of the samurai. Samurais were the only ones that were allowed to carry swords or weapons. So they had to learn how to adapt farm tools into war, tools of war.
That's where the commas came from. Right?
Commas, size. I believe nunchucks.
Interesting.
The staff.
It's just a walking staff. Every shepherd has their staff.
Exactly. What else did they use? Obviously, throwing stars are not really practical, but
those are saw blades.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I personally, in the arena, I'm going with the gladiator.
Gladiator wins in the
Gladiator
arena.
wins because eventually they'll like track them down and corner them or whatever. But the gladiator's too big and skilled.
The gladiator has some semblance of armor too.
Yeah.
Like usually the head's protected.
Oh yeah.
Because they're prize fighters.
Yep. They want to stay around for a while.
Now, if the ninja gets off a poison or something, then that might be a elongated death or something. But gladiator will take the immediate victory.
I completely agree. He would just overwhelm them. Now, in Japan...
All right. We're going to the village.
We're going to the village. 100% totally ninja.
Yeah. There's no way that a prize fighter out of its element would be able to see a ninja.
Oh, yeah. And they're not looking for it either.
They're not looking for it.
And that's what the ninjas got on them.
Yep.
The ninja will just be like, they're super distracted now.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, they're like dead.
Yep.
So absolutely. If it's in a public atmosphere, ninjas all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Ninjas all the way. If it's in a one-on-one atmosphere, I don't know. As much as I hate to say it, I'm going with the gladiator.
I'm going with gladiator round 3.
Yeah.
No weapons in the dojo. It's just gladiator. They're built. They've got the muscles. They've got the body, the frame, because that's their profession.
Mm-hmm. That's all they do is fight.
That's all they do.
So, and we're always telling people size doesn't matter. It does.
It really does.
It does, to a certain extent. I mean, you can make it to where it doesn't matter or it becomes less of a thing.
That's right.
But size does matter. When you have a 200-pound punch coming at you as opposed to a 120-pound punch, it's natural science.
What if the ninja fights dirty, though?
Well, the ninja is expected to fight dirty,
Yeah.
so it's going to throw sand in its eyes and try to blind it and, like, misdirection and all that stuff. Oh, I totally expect it to.
Totally expect it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
But I as much as it pains me to say it, I don't know. I've got to go with the Gladiator on that one. So, Gladiator, in my opinion, wins.
Yep.
It hurts my soul to say that.
Hurts your soul.
Now, if we did like Pirates versus Ninjas,
Pirates are gonna win.
no, Ninjas are totally gonna.
Nuh-uh. Gunpowder.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Half the time it doesn't work.
What? That's 50%. That's a 50% win rate.
That's even if it hits the target.
Blunderbuss. It's a shotgun.
That is true. The blunderbuss. They had a blunderbuss. I give them more of like a 75% chance, but they're still at 25.
I know.
So, and it could be like no firearms versus firearms.
Oh.
Because they still had swords.
Yeah. Cutlass is really good.
Jack Sparrow had a sword.
Yeah.
A rusty one. So, but let us know what you guys think. Who would win? Gladiators versus Ninjas. Stephen and I has both got Gladiators taking this round. Or let us know who you would like to see in our hypothetical fight scenes.
Yep. Give us our next one.
I've got a couple in mind. I'm thinking about having a tournament of Johns.
What?
Yeah. We're like John Wick versus John Rambo.
Okay.
John McClane versus
John Cena.
John Cena. You know. So having a tournament of Johns.
Interesting.
And the winner gets the porcelain John.
That went there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets a golden toilet.
Amazing.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have a tournament of Johns. That'll be fun. Start off with
Little John versus someone else.
Yeah, Little John versus...
What was another one? I just had one. Long John Silver.
Oh, Long John Silver.
There we go. Well, he doesn't have a leg, so we might not.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, he's got other things.
Yeah, he's got a peg leg, and he's got other stuff he can use.
He's got a crutch.
He's got a crutch. He's got a staff.
Someone swing their crutch at you.
So we'll do that here in the next couple of weeks. Is we'll do a tournament of Johns. So who what kind of Johns do you want to see fight each other? We've listed a few of them. So let's see what else we got. Moving on to our final segment, which is the shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
Steven, who you got for a shout-out this week?
I'm shouting out Liam this week.
Liam?
He did a really good one intro lesson yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Nice.
And it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he said he had a girlfriend.
Got a friend coming in. He's really taking working here, like doing stuff here seriously.
Which is funny because he's going to be cutting back down to...
He's cutting down his hours.
Once a week because of school. But whatever, that's okay. It's school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I would agree with you. Liam has really kind of stepped it up recently. He did have that little 2-week sick hiatus where he had to start over his chart.
Yeah.
But
he
taught a great group class on Tuesday.
He taught a good class.
Taught a good class on Tuesday. Yeah, he said he had someone coming in for a lesson on Thursday, and he asked me. He goes, "Do I do the lesson or do you do the lesson?" I go, "Well, what would you like?" He goes, I would actually like to do the lesson. I was like, all right, it's all yours then.
Yeah.
So good for him. So she came in, or they came in, and he did the lesson.
That's right.
Awesome. Good for him.
I talked to her dad while he was doing the lesson with his friend. Pretty fun.
Nice.
It's good to get that rapport going with people.
Yeah, and those are just, you treat very, very soft and no pressures type stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go with, again, the students and you.
What?
Yeah, you've been had a lot on your plate lately, and you've been managing it very well. And you probably don't feel like you have been sometimes, but you've got that extra responsibility with the puppies at the house, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming and this and that. But you've been doing very well. Your attitude's been great, and yeah,
well, thank you.
So my shout out is for you, man. You've been doing great. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
So, if you want to shout out somebody, again, comments down below. Shout out your person who you want to shout out and why you want to shout them out. Okay. But again, that's the show for the day. Feel free to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Feel free to subscribe on all your social media platforms and share the show with everybody. We don't do a whole lot of promoting. We should probably promote it a little bit, but our goal is to just spread the word on trying to make our world better. So I always go back to the campsite rule. Is what's the first rule of camping? Leave the site better than you found it.
That's right.
That's my goal for my community, my area. So my goal is to make our area better than when we came into it. And that can only happen with people to share it with. So if you know somebody that's likes to listen to podcasts, share the show with them. If they don't like to listen to podcasts, share the show with them.
Yeah.
We need to get our message out there so we can spread the word as fast as we can. Okay, because we're not looking to make this our full-time gig or nothing. This is just something fun on the side. We like to talk. We like to BS with each other and spread ideas, and hopefully we can influence people in the process in a good way.
That's right.
In a good way. So make sure to share the show with everybody that you know, and leave us some comments down below. But until we meet again, thanks for kicking it with us, you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Kick it with us next week. Bye, everyone.